Well, if you've tuned in for the Heinemann Doran show to hear Heinemann talk down to me, mention his advanced degrees as opposed to my simple BA, you're going to be disappointed because today I'm going to just pick his brain. That shouldn't take too long. Stay tuned, folks.
It's time for the Newsmaker Show on News Talk AM 1480 WLEA. Here's Kevin Doran.
How's Dr. Robert Heinemann.
Simple bachelor's degree. I like the way you put that, Kevin.
Well, I know. That used to be a big deal one time. It means nothing now. It's like a high school degree.
Well, it depends.
By the way, before we get into the
Kevin.
heavy-duty stuff.
Sure.
Have you noticed that University of, now I'm going to get the wrong, a Big Ten football team.
Oh, Northwestern?
Yes. Are they Big Ten?
Yes.
Yeah. Their quarterback said, look, we're paid employees. Well, we knew they were, but.
Right. So they want to unionize.
Unionize.
I think it's great.
I do, too. And then stop pretending that they have degrees.
For college students, right?
Yes.
No, I think, I don't think the National Labor Relations Board is, I don't know. I don't think that it's going to go too far with them. But
I think it's a good idea.
No, I think, right.
Well, the reason that we say that, folks, is because so many of these football and basketball players come out of the big schools unable to read or write, and they have degrees, which is an insult.
They don't have degrees. Most of them don't have degrees.
They don't.
I'll give the schools that. Because, first of all, you should be able to read your diploma if you get it.
Yeah.
But, they just hang on to them for a few years, and then they
dump them.
Yeah, they wander off somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, but when they get on TV and say, I'm doing a university role.
That's a little embarrassing, and I wonder how they play that. I would bet the schools kind of shepherd the kids who are, decent students and stuff.
Well, some of them are,
yeah.
many.
No. There's some fine students there. But I think, and again, we need to spend a lot of time on this, but I think the sad thing about this is it all starts about grade school level. And especially if you're a minority student, a black kid, for example, and you're pretty well coordinated and whatever, and then you got some coach there that's going to grab hold of you and talk to you about, and that maybe you should become an athlete or whatever. And some of these coaches actually denigrate, being a student. I remember one of my colleagues at the university played as a freshman for, I don't know, it was Colby or Bowdoin or one of those schools. And he told the coach, he said, there's a poetry reading the same night we have practice, and I'm going to go to the poetry reading. Oh, the coach couldn't believe it. Well, what do you mean going to? But, he was more interested in poetry than basketball.
Good.
Well, it turned out all right for him, yeah. So, I think these kids, it's just unfair the way they're dealt with. Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, listen. As you know, I have a lot of inside sources within both parties.
Yes, Kevin. I'm always very impressed by that.
And I have pretty good information.
You have a question here, Kevin, or you just want to continue patting yourself on the back?
That Donald Trump is, in fact, going to run for governor as a Republican.
Yes.
What is your take on that, as we say, Bob?
What is my take?
Yeah, that's what they say now. What's your view, your thoughts? What?
Well, I think he's the guy that I think the Republicans have to have someone who can lead them. And I think he has not only the name recognition, he has the money. I think the real question with Donald Trump is the message. And that is absolutely critical that be formatted in a clear, attractive form, and that he stay with it. Because he is going to get all kinds of stuff thrown at him. And the key is, and my view is, and I think you asked for that, didn't you, my view?
Yeah, I want to know if you think he's going to run.
And my view is that there is a fundamental grassroots feeling out there of disgust with politicians and government generally.
Yes, there is.
So you could throw a lot of stuff at a guy like Trump. If he sticks to his basic points, I think he'll be competitive.
Okay, what are the basic points on which Donald will run? And I think
don't
he will.
know that. I don't know that.
Well, what do you think
some
there
have
should
been
be?
Suggested to him.
What do you think they should be?
Fracking.
Pro-fracking?
Yeah. Guns. Support the Anti-Safe Act, whatever he wants to do with the Safe Act. I don't know, but pro-life.
Mm-hmm.
Traditional marriage, which I guess I would stay away from to a certain extent because there's really not much you can do about what's been done already in terms of same-sex marriage.
Do you think a majority of New Yorkers favor same-sex? It's not
No,
marriage.
I don't think so.
I don't either. I
No.
think if it had
but
come
be
to a
that
vote,
as
it
it
would
may,
have
there's
lost.
not much you can do about it, and so, frankly, instead of ruffling all those feathers, if you're asked, I think you could say supports traditional marriage. But for example, guns, there are some things you can do about it. You could repeal the SAFE Act. You certainly could change it around so it's much more gun owner friendly. So there are some things there. And then I think support for more discretion and freedom for upstate counties and towns. And because,
in other words, run on an upstate platform? Is that what
well,
you-
not entirely. I think there's people in New York City, gun owners. I think there are people in New York City that would support fracking, although, frankly, I don't think most of them care one way or another. But I think you also ought to have a pro-police, a strong pro-police position and support aggressive stop and frisk efforts, which, frankly, protect the minority communities in many ways far more than they do the upper scale communities. And
Do you think Trump will run?
Yes.
I do, too.
Yeah.
I have inside information, Bob. I don't know if you have it or not.
I'm just guessing, Kevin.
I see.
Yeah. But Palladino told somebody, and maybe
Tell him who Palladino is now.
Mr. Palladino was the last guy who ran as a Republican candidate for governor out of Erie County. And was it you or no? I think it was another one. Someone else from the station said Palladino said the other day that Mr. Trump is going to have a very positive announcement here within a week or so. Palladino is not irrelevant to this because he says that if Astronino, who is the guy way downstate that
Cox wants. Cox being the state
we got to
chairman.
talk to Ed a little bit and move him in the right direction. But I think he'll be receptive. But Palladino says if it's not Trump, that he thinks he can get the conservative endorsement from Michael Long, the state chairman, so he would run on the conservative line, which would immediately destroy any chance. And in fact, you could end up with a situation where the conservatives finish second in the race for governor, and in that case, all the election commissioners in the state would be conservative Democrat. They wouldn't be Republican Democrat as they are now. All the Republicans lose all those county election commissioners. That would be that's possible, though.
The fly in the ointment is a gentleman named Ed Cox, who's the GOP chairman, and I was shocked, I tell you, to learn that he would rather hold on to his power and lose elections.
I don't think that. No, I don't think that's.
Come on.
No, I don't think that's.
You
true.
guys in the establishment.
Ed is talking to a lot of those establishment people downstate, and I can remember very clearly 4 years ago when Palladino was getting ready to run. Ed was up at a big fundraiser in Livingston County.
It's Ed and Bob, right?
Well, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
He's
good.
been very good to me.
Oh.
I'm talking to him. We're chatting a little bit about this and that. And I had one of my former students from Arcade who's in the banking business. And Ed was going on about Lazio and what a great candidate he was. I said, look, Ed, I think Palladino's the man out here. Oh, no, he said, and the fellow with me, the banker, said, well, I've been out visiting a lot of small businessmen all over Western New York, he said, and they're all supporting Palladino. So when Ed got up to make his comments, he mentioned Lazio once. Mm-hmm. I think he was prepared to make a big spiel on Lazio, how great he was, but he could see that was clearly not the way things were going. And, of course,
Well,
Palomino.
now, let me ask you this question. This is all inside.
I would add a little more here if I could.
Yes, I guess. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was talking to one of the major players in Western New York last night, and he was saying that all the Western New York Republican chairmen. Now, I didn't have Cattaraugus or Chautauqua. I don't think he talked to them. But all the rest of them, Steuben, Allegheny, Livingston, Monroe, Monroe, Wyoming, Genesee, Ontario, Orleans, Ontario, Erie, Niagara, they're all supporting Trump.
Okay.
So it's definitely, and Cox will, I think, see that.
What about the guy whose name I can never remember, which is the problem? The guy from Westchester, who's probably a very competent guy.
I think he is, yes.
But will he run, or can Cox say,
I
no,
think,
you better not?
I think what the idea would be to put him on as lieutenant governor. If he wants to be governor, let's say, and Trump is running for the governorship, I think he's got several possibilities there. One, Trump wins. He's lieutenant governor, and Trump decides then he wants to do something else. This guy would automatically be a front runner for the governorship. Second, if Trump runs and he's lieutenant governor candidate and Trump loses, he's still a county executive of Westchester County, and he's gotten his name around the
So he could go next time.
So he could run again. So I think there's some real advantages there in kind of piggybacking on Trump's name and money for this guy.
Okay, let's move on to national politics.
Oh, all right.
Now, I know you are an establishment Republican. You don't understand those of us who are Tea Party inclined, which is to say constitutional inclined. You have trouble with that. But
yeah,
Ann Coulter,
I guess I'd just as soon not even talk to you.
Ann Coulter, not one of your favorite people.
That would be true, yes.
Ann Coulter had a thing on
a
Drudge.
mouthy woman, if
Would you please?
Go ahead.
Ann Coulter had a thing on Drudge yesterday, or he ran something she wrote, saying, and Pat Buchanan agreed by
well, there we go.
Yeah, well,
I like Pat Buchanan.
The real Republicans. You ought to. I gave you my seat so you could talk to him.
He was very generous.
Well, I know it. Well, he's a nice guy. But here's the thing. They believe, Coulter and Buchanan, that if Boehner caves in to big business and passes an immigration bill to increase the number of Democrats and also cheap labor to help big business, that he's done, that the Republicans will then revolt. Now, I know you're a big fan of Boehner. I think he's probably a very decent guy. But someone's got to stand up and say, no, we don't want illegals coming in here dictating our politics. All right, your reaction.
Well, I think that's about as simple-minded as you can get.
I beg your pardon? Are you calling me simple-minded or Coulter and Buchanan?
Yeah. No, I think you picked up on that, Kevin, yeah. I think that...
What I tell you, folks, he has to insult me, my family, my dog. My poor dog has to sit there and listen.
Explanations of this issue. I mean... Nobody's going to dictate our politics. What do you mean?
Are you nuts? Both parties are shivering at the thought of losing the Latino vote. Come on.
Well, the Latino vote is very important.
Yes.
But that's not to say that all the Latinos support amnesty for...
Well, only 90% of them, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not certain about that either, but the way you phrase it.
Yeah.
Now, listen, just a minute. And you know I've already talked on this in public, and I'm on the web if people want to go access H.L. Mencken Club and my remarks.
I'm not against immigration. I'm against illegal immigration.
Well, yes, but the point is, what are we talking about here in terms of illegal? First of all, they're talking about 11 million. There aren't 11 million. There are 11 million illegal immigrants in this country because you got about 5.5, 6 million are students and workers who have overstayed their visas. So they came in here legally to start with, and now they're wandering around campuses are working. So, all right, you're talking about maybe 5.5 million, maybe 6 million who's slipped across the Rio Grande or crawled through those tunnels or whatever.
Bringing
And a
lots
lot
of drugs with him, we should point out.
Yeah,
right?
that's a serious
Yeah,
problem.
so I'm glad you
The
recognize
point is
that.
we got to get off the simple-minded kind of, gee, we're going to punish these people who've come over here, been working in this country for 20 years, raising their families, law-abiding citizens.
Newt
and we're gonna
Gingrich
throw them
had
in
a-
and call
wait a
them
minute.
all a bunch of drug dealers.
No,
Now, that
wait,
is outrageous.
wait
I
a
think
minute
it's terrible
here.
the way you've been picking on these people.
Oh,
I think a person
Bob.
comes to this country and wants to work hard.
Is this
we
what
should
you-
encourage them.
Is this what you get when you get a PhD? You get to do character assassination? Come on,
I'm
give me a
trying to
break.
uphold character assassination.
You're trying to
I am
uphold
defending
character
these
assassination.
people against your character.
Listen.
You're caricature. You're
You-
caricaturing these people.
you-
then you come back and character assassinate them.
You-
it's very difficult. to keep
What?
the pronunciation
You
straight on
should
this.
go to Phoenix and see. Now, let me finish. See the illegals out demonstrating, speaking Spanish, of course, waving the Mexican flag,
Yeah, they're
and
t-
demanding rights.
Well, yeah.
They're not even citizens, for
How
crying
do you
out
know
loud.
that? How do you know they're not citizens?
All right, if Sheriff Joe,
Yeah.
God love him, one of the few brave men in this world, Sheriff Joe Arpaio walks into, he can't do it anymore, Obama made it impossible, but he walks into an emergency room. In any Phoenix hospital, they all take right off because they're illegal.
Yeah, but
They come over here for
what are
medical
they in the emergency room for?
to catch the illegals.
No. What are these people in the emergency room for?
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, because they're sick. They're sick.
Some of them
And
are
they
sick.
Need medical
some,
care.
And
the
some,
Americans are willing to reach out and provide.
yeah. Well, go tell that to the hospitals in Phoenix that are losing their shirt.
Now,
Listen, Bob, you're living up here in Alfred, New York,
in fine weather,
and
I
you
think
don't care about what's happening to the country.
I do care what's
I
happening.
don't
to the
think so.
company, and I'm pretty proud of how I've contributed to that.
right.
Fighting off these right-wing nuts that really have no place in New York State anyway.
Well, that's what your
That's
buddy
what the
Cuomo
governor
says. Yeah,
yes, you guys
close
should be,
down.
Let's move the station 25 miles south. You could be in.
I wish we could, but you
Pennsylvania.
can't do it. You can't legally do it. Listen, a lot of
You could
people
become
are
an illegal immigrant in Pennsylvania.
He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to force us out because we're leaving anyway. I mean, take the 18 to 24-year-old crowd,
Yes,
practically non-existent, right?
I agree.
New York is losing population. This guy wants to. We are the highest tax state in the union. This guy is running ads. Cuomo, is running ads. Come to New
Still
York.
on progress.
Open your business in New York.
Yeah.
Are you out of your mind? Who's going to do that? I mean, they're not stupid or they wouldn't have a business.
Yeah, right. Businessmen are not stupid.
They're not going to come to New
Right.
York.
No. He's. It's incredible. He gets up and makes these speeches, and E.J. McMahon, who we had speak at our Constitution Day dinner here about 10 years ago. E.J. McMahon. He's a editorial writer and op-ed writer for the New York Post and a number of others. He's got a little think tank. Took Cuomo's State of the State speech and just took it apart. So, there's nothing here. This guy, this is...
All right, listen.
And in fact, I think he's getting away with this. And again, going back to Trump, he's getting away with this because he doesn't have any real opposition. If you got somebody with some money out there who's willing to state some positions, I think it's going to put Cuomo in a lot more awkward
let's
spot.
sum it up.
I think he'll have to dance a lot faster to maintain his
Cuomo is
popularity.
not his father.
No, I agree
He's
with
not.
that 100%.
His father was just as radical, but he was smart enough not to say it.
His father was a very smart politician.
That's right.
And a good speaker.
That's right.
And
Andy
good
isn't.
sense.
Right.
No, right.
Trump, Cuomo in a debate. Who wins?
I think. Well, I don't know that. As you know, Trump is a big fundraiser up in Buffalo this weekend. I had
Tonight, isn't it? Yeah. Friday night. Yeah.
yeah, I believe it is. Yes, yeah, 31st. Yes, and I'll be interested. I'm not going, but I have a lot of friends going up there, and I'll be interested in how he performs. He may be a miserable speaker too.
I don't think so. I've seen him.
But if he does the way I think he will, then I think a Trump-Cuomo debate would draw a pretty high Nielsen rating, perhaps even higher than this show. Yeah.
Well, you see, I started off trying to be nice, but you insulted me, my wife, my
Insulted
children,
you.
my
I
dog.
love your wife.
Careful there. My dog.
I admire your wife.
My
I
dog
respect your wife.
has to put his ears down when you come on the air because he's going to beat up on my man. All right, that's it for now. You'll be back next week, maybe. Let's put it
there
that
you go,
way.
folks. Putting a little
threat.
Yeah,
little threat.
A
All
little
right.
tension in
Stay
there.
tuned, folks, for some real news.
I hope the people are able to sleep at night, wondering whether I come back. But
I think they'll make it.
assure them, yes. All right.